Hi everyone, welcome back to Watson's Wine YouTube channel. Today we are thrilled to have Sarah Crowe with us, from Yarra Yering, General Manager and Winemaker with us.
Hi Andrea, thank you for inviting me here. I'm Sarah Crowe, the Winemaker and General Manager at Yarra Yering, and I'm thrilled to be back here in Hong Kong because I have not visited the market since I think it was 2017 when I last came here for Watson's Wine Week, which is a great event. If you have an opportunity to come, you definitely should.
And please like, subscribe and share our Watson's Wine YouTube channel. Can you tell us a little bit more? You've been awarded the Right, you have a very famous quote that came from you. I'm sorry, I had to write it and in order to read it. Making great wines takes a lot of effort, but the wines itself should be effortless. So what's your philosophy behind that quote?
I think some of the best wine experiences that you have are with a wine that is not always so big and overt and obvious, and that there's this seamlessness and an elegance in the best wines where they still captivate you, but they aren't necessarily big wines. And I think for us, our style at Yarra Yering and from the Yarra Valley is very much fragrant, elegant, medium-weighted wines. And I think they have a big impact, but it almost sneaks up on you.
So Sarah, have you experienced any challenges changing the styles of Yarra Yering wines since the beginning of your experience?
It wasn't too bad. In fact, I think that because there was a change in winemaker, that there was already an expectation that there would be a bit of a change in the wine styles. And so very early on, people would say to me, oh, this wine's different. I think I like it more. And so that was some really good kind of encouragement and support, because the changes came very, very slowly. You can only really change one thing at a time to understand if it's the right thing to do. So as I kind of stepped through the vintages and started to try some different techniques, and my reasoning for that was that I wanted to highlight the vineyard rather than the hand of the winemaker. It was a very gradual change, and so I was able to bring our consumers along for the ride.
For you, what actually makes Yarra Yering wines to stand out from other wineries, other wines made in the area?
Yeah, I think they've always had a little bit of a signature. And of course, the vineyard's resource is quite unique, and that is the key and the core of the wines. Potentially, I think, some of our techniques and the way we do our fermentation is in some little unique fermenters. They're unique to Yarra Yering. And, part of that is the ratio of the skins to the fermenting wine, and the amount of time they spend in there. We're very thorough in our selection process through hand picking and the use of our sorting equipment, that I think we're keeping out anything that's going to interrupt that signature Yarra Yering characteristic. It's all about the vineyard.
I like it because if you think that will be consumers that will be for the first time picking a bottle of wines from Yarra Yering and automatically expecting on paper to drink Cabernet Sauvignon from Australia or Shiraz from Australia, when you actually have the wines in your mouth, the mouthfeel, the aromatics, it's very, very different.
Yeah, that is our climate. So the Yarra Valley, it's a cool climate. The Yarra Yering vineyard is a warm site within a cool climate region. So this is why we have a lot more Shiraz and Cabernet rather than, and just little bits of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. But that signature kind of intensity and power, yet the wines are still understated, is this combination, this intersection of our location and the climate. And it's really quite fascinating how the wines that we make are similar yet totally unique to those of our neighbours. And it's, this is part of, I guess, the magic of wine and winemaking is that one block will taste a certain way and the block next door will taste quite different. I mean, it's so fascinating. It's almost an endless hobby or passion or career for me that is so much fun to try and understand more deeply.
You also had a philosophy of keeping Yarra Valley overall is much more famous nowadays, let's say, for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Is it still your thought on keeping varietals such as Cabernet Sauvignon and Shiraz and keeping the philosophy that was brought at the beginning at the estate? Or did you have this idea to say, okay, let's in 20 years change half of the vineyards and move on to Pinot and Chardonnay?
We have increased our plantings by a little bit of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Our site is probably a little bit more beneficial for the later varieties. Chardonnay is a very flexible variety. We can grow Chardonnay across the whole of Australia. We just make different styles. Shiraz is quite similar in that you can kind of mould it and manipulate it through the different techniques that we can use as winemakers to make different styles of wine. And the Cabernet is quite robust. So I think it will always be okay in our location. We probably have to be the most considerate when it comes to Pinot Noir from our site, because Pinot has thin skins, it's a little bit more fragile, I suppose. So yeah, just really putting in a lot of effort, in particular in the vineyard, and being super gentle with Pinot Noir. But Shiraz and Cabernet will always be the core of what we do. It's also our history and our legacy. Our first two wines made from 1973 were the dry red wine number 1 and the dry red wine number 2. So this is our heart, and yeah, we will always focus on those varieties.
You made a comment also earlier that I love. You said we are a warm vineyard within a cool region, and why is that? Well, do you have like specific slopes and parcels that are on warmer sides than other could have?
Our vineyard faces almost completely north, so it captures, all of the heat, all day sunshine, and there's not a lot of different aspects and slopes across there, and our elevation is lower, so it's about 160 metres above sea level. When you move into the upper Yarra, that's when you kind of up the Yarra River, there's a lot more, and we're in some foothills that all face north. So there's a lot of diversity in vineyard sites across the Yarra Valley, but the Yarra Yering site is fairly consistently a warm site, north-facing.
Well, you mentioned, it could be very technical, but you mentioned about vineyards also being planted a certain way to take the sun mainly morning to early afternoon and avoid as much as possible the late afternoon sun that's a bit more powerful and could be burning grape varieties.
Yeah, this has been because when our vineyard was planted, the climate seemed to be a lot more mild, particularly for the first kind of 20 years, and then it's got a little bit warmer. And majority of our vineyard rows are planted north-south, so they do get a lot of the hot afternoon sunshine. So this really, and I always bring everything mostly back to the vineyard. So for us to make sure that we're making wonderfully fragrant, elegant, medium-weighted wines into the future, we're focused very much on our vineyard management and how we can manipulate the canopy to protect the fruit zone, because we don't want those grapes to cook.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the wine so juicy,
Yes.
drinkable. And so what are the
Yeah.
No, and they're brilliant. So dry red #1 blend of mainly Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah,
Bordeaux blend.
Bordeaux blend, Cabernet, Merlot, Malbec, and Petit Verdot.
We got dry red #2.
Shiraz, a Rhone-inspired blend. Shiraz with a little bit of Mourvedre, Marsanne, and Viognier.
And I love the idea when you started. It will be very hard for a French person to pronounce the name of Agincourt on a bottle of wine, as it's a huge battle and failure of the French Empire at the time. What was the idea of creating Agincourt behind?
And it's not meant to make you feel bad either, the naming, I'm sorry.
Not at all.
We have, it's like a little bit of a partner to the #1, the Bordeaux blend, but we make it in a bit more of an expressive style with a little bit more fruit purity and vibrancy, and it's a little bit easier as a younger wine. And the partner to the dry red wine #2 is the Underhill Shiraz that we make with some bunch use and really trying to encourage that wonderful fruit palate and fruit purity, particularly as young wines. So we know that people want to cellar their dry red #1, #2, and we're giving you an opportunity to drink some younger wines with the Agincourt and the Underhill.
So, Sarah, Yarra Yering, it's undoubtedly one of the most famous or most recognized estates in Australia. What do you think will be nowadays your major competitors?
I guess the other pioneering Yarra Valley producers in being Mount Mary and Yeringberg. And whilst in a way we actually share a lot of the same customers. So they come to Yarra Yering and you say, hello, what have you been up to? And they're like, oh, we've just been to Mount Mary to pick up our wine. So whilst in a way they're competitors, there's also a great synergy. And I'm also friends with the winemakers. And maybe historically there wasn't such a friendly relationship between Yarra Yering and them. Today there really is. And we talk about our wines and we visit each other and taste wine out of barrel and talk about the season.
Yeah, which I think is the most important when you want, because fighting as a single estate to be recognized, it's pretty difficult, but when 10 of them are working together to make the whole regions and there is more demands about the wine from an area, then it grows all together.
Yeah, it's very Australian, I would have to say, that we're mostly, for the large part, we're all friends and we want to encourage each other and we want to raise the quality of Australian wine because as a country, we know there's a lot of beautiful wine out there in the world. And if we're all making beautiful wine, then people will come to Australia when they have a special occasion.
So are there any, by visiting other neighbors or wineries around the world, are there any techniques, things that you literally took? Yeah,
I did a trip around France last year, and in particular Bordeaux. It was the first time I'd visited Bordeaux. I'm slightly embarrassed to say that since I make Bordeaux blends. But yeah, there's lots of small things along the way, and it doesn't have to be big, massive, sweeping changes that we make. We like to trial small things, assess if they work, and if they do, we do more of it. So yeah, I'm always on the outlook for just tiny little ways for us to make better wine.
What would be your, let's say, go-to region to drink now?
Like wines from Burgundy, but also Beaujolais. And I think part of that is because they're in a similar style to what we're making in the Yarra Valley from Yarra Yering. Fragrant.
Is Gamay from Beaujolais the new grape variety of Yarra Valley? No.
There is some planted, not at Yarra Yering, but yes, there's a few people looking at that. But I think it's a style thing that I like about those wines. It's the fragrance and the gentleness of the wines.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, and even though they are Shiraz, Cabernet Sauvignon, like Bordeaux blend overall, you have a bit of Pinot and Chardonnay, but the elegance, the crunchiness of your wines are blow my mind.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Cheers, Sarah.
Great to talk to you.
No, pleasure. Good to have you here.
Thank you. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, you can like, share and subscribe Watson's Wine YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.